to speak to you. I've got Mr. Jitendra Agarwal, Chairman Elecrama, Hamza Archiwala, President-elect IEEMA, Mr. Sunil Singhvi, Vice President IEEMA, Mr. Vikram Gandotra, Chairman World Utility Summit and member of Organizing Council, Mr. Atul Arya, member of the Organizing Council and National Council of IEEMA, also in charge of the Startup Awards, Mr. Imtiaz Siddiqui, he is handling domestic buyer seller needs and has been in charge of a lot of international buyers coming in. Mr. Rajesh Gupta, who is in the audience with you, but will shortly see him on the stage with us, from Larsen & Toubro, in charge of a lot of infrastructure, good facilities that you would be seeing at the venue, and Larsen & Toubro, one of the large exhibitors as well, and a member of the Organizing Council. So, क्या हम शुरू कर सकते हैं अभी ये कॉन्फ्रेंस? Agency, can we start the conference? Thank you. So, Elecrama के बारे में तो मुझे नहीं पता आप लोगों को कितना मालूम है, but it's the world's largest electrical industry show. 16 मार्च को करीब एक साल पहले भी हम लोग आपसे मुखातिब हुए थे जब हमने Elecrama लॉन्च किया था दिल्ली में. तब भी R.K. Singh ji was with us. He was the Park Minister. He had launched Elecrama and he had called IEEMA his family. आज एक साल के बाद, when we touched about about 25 odd various venues, 8 road show हमने domestic किए हैं, 8 हमने international road shows किए हैं. राजेश जी, please join. We have touched almost 5,000 industries, electrical industry, thanks to the undying efforts of this team that you are sitting here and the inspiration our chairman Jitendra Agarwal, because he was very clear कि हम सिर्फ metro में नहीं जाएंगे, हम लोग industry clusters में. I think the entire presidium and chairman जो आपका vision था, we reached out to industry. We went to industry in various clusters और आज ये result है that we are oversubscribed. ये show 3 महीने पहले oversubscribed था. And that is the hunger for industry, coupled with the fact that the entire world is looking for China +1 as supply chain. पूरा विश्व इस समय भारत को देख रहा है कि भारत की इंडस्ट्री क्या स्टेप अप करके उनकी सप्लाई चेन का पार्ट हो सकती है. उसका रिजल्ट आज आप Elecrama में देख रहे हैं कि इस समय शो ओवर सब्सक्राइब है. इंडस्ट्री का झूम Elecrama में पार्टिसिपेट करने के लिए बिल्कुल तैयार बैठा है. इस समय IEEMA के ग्राउंड्स में जोर शोर से पूरी तैयारी चल रही है शो को पूरा रेडी करने के लिए. और इसके आगे जो शो की जो मेन हाईलाइट्स हैं, आई विल रिक्वेस्ट जितेंद्र अग्रवाल जी जो हमारे चेयरमैन हैं Elecrama के, तो शेयर करते हैं. जेके जी आप.
गुड आफ्टरनून, नमस्ते दोस्तों. ये Elecrama is more than the exhibition, it is the emotions of the electrical industry to the world. The word Elecrama comes from the very thought that it is a panorama of the power sector of the electrical industry to the whole world. That is why we call it Elecrama. So just to give you some statistics about what we are going to do or what is going to happen from 18th February to 22nd February, more than 1,000 exhibitors with more than 110,000 square meter of area. Every inch, every space of IEEMA grounds has been taken. And though it is, I feel bad when I say this, we could not accommodate more than 200-250 exhibitors who wanted to be part of Elecrama, but there was no space. So it is a good news that we are sold out, but we want to have more and more. We expect more than 350,000 people as footfalls. And a true B2B exhibition with more than 15,000 focused B2B meetings. But as an exhibitor, there will be visitors, there are exhibitors who will have business meetings. But we have products like reverse buyer seller meeting or domestic buyer seller meeting, where we plan these meetings well in advance with the serious buyers and the exhibitors. So more than 15,000 focused buyers meetings, seller buyer meetings are going to happen there. We have more than 700 buyers from 75 countries who are part of the RPSM scheme. Apart from thousands of people visiting there as buyers and as exhibitors. There are 700 people coming from all across the globe, especially for these focused buyer-seller meetings. This time we have started a very new thing, Startup Award. So people, whenever they think about electrical industry, they think in typical manufacturing, generation, distribution. But startups, and when we talk about startups, people, what they think about is FMCG, Internet of Things, IT industry. But this is, at Elecrama 2023, we are going to recognize the startups of the power sector. So we have kept the power sector startups. We have CEOs from all the smart cities, from different smart cities of India. So we are not only focusing purely on the generation, distribution, transmission. We have gone much beyond. Anything from source to socket related to power will be showcased under Elecrama. To be inaugurated by Shri Aditya Singh Ji on 18th. So I invite you all there. Any questions? We all are sitting here. I request our President-elect, Shri Hamza Asiwala, to add on to it. Okay. Sorry.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, you are there. So you are in Mumbai, so we missed you.
My mistake.
Thank you, JK and Charu. And a very warm welcome to all of you. क्षमा चाहता हूँ कि मैं in person नहीं आ पाया, तो मन तो बड़ा था, लेकिन नहीं आ पाया. जैसे जेके जी ने बोला, साहब ने बोला, एलेक्रामा हमारे इंडस्ट्री का globally it's a very important exhibition, and it is not just an exhibition. I think this becomes a ground for the entire industry, not just in India, but globally to come together and actually set course for the priorities for the industry for the next few years. So this time actually at Elecrama, there are a lot of interesting things that are happening which will set the trend for the next several years for the industry. The Elecrama is very much in line with the stated ambition of the country to get to net zero and to ensure we have energy independence as a nation. And this time, for the first time, we have a team sponsor for sustainability because we believe for our industry, we stand for sustainability. We will enable sustainability for the nation and for the world. And this time, we have a title sponsor for sustainability, which is Schneider, and we have their global CEO, who's championing the cause of sustainability in the sector. There with us in the inaugural session. We will also, in line with that, we will also be releasing two very key reports at Elecrama. One on how can India, what is the opportunity for the industry over the next 5-10 years by 2030 on some of the new technologies which will enable our transition to net zero. So these are technologies around new renewable energy, around green hydrogen, around storage systems, and the e-mobility and e-mobility charging infrastructure. All three of which are going to be very critical for our nation's energy independence and green transition. So we have worked with EY over the last 1 year as an industry to develop a roadmap for this and the opportunities that come for the industry, which we will release at Elecrama. There is also a report on sustainability. Amrit Kaal, India's path to develop a decarbonized nation, which the Schneider Global Research Center has developed as their contribution to how can India not just achieve our targets by 2050 and 2070 as set, 2047 and 2070 as set by the nation, but also an opportunity to do it faster. So that will be again one more very interesting report which will lay out the option for the country and how we could go about it, which will be released at Elecrama. Second, one of the most important things, which we have launched at this Elecrama, or Elecrama will be the first platform where we will showcase this, is a startup award. Normally we talk of startups for e-commerce or FMCG, but this is the first time for the electrical industry where we ran a startup competition called Electra World Spark, where we got startups who work in new energy, e-mobility, smart cooling, come and participate, and over 100 companies participated. 12 finalists are showcasing their technologies and solutions at Elecrama, and we will, announce the winners at the event. There is also a big focus on the new age technology. So eTech Next, which is a platform for new technology, will showcase what's happening in areas like green hydrogen, charging infrastructure, and the battery and storage space, which are all very fast evolving areas of interest for the industry. Like I said, as part of the industry vision, our focus is over the next 25 years, जो अमृत काल पीरियड है इंडिया का, उसमें electricity consumption will grow from almost 8 times, from 1.2 thousand units per capita today to 10,000 units per capita. We will increase or double our share in the global ecosystem or value chain for the electrical industry, and we will become energy independent and hopefully energy surplus with green energy as the backbone of our energy system. The last thing I will say is we will also be signing several MOUs with different other associations and countries around Elecrama. With the India Green Building Council, IGBC, we will be signing an MOU to strengthen how we work with them to drive the sustainability goals from this building, which is going to be a big energy consumption area for the country. So I'll pause here and I'll hand over to Hamza, who can tell you a little more about the other part of Elecrama, but a very exciting Elecrama, and I look forward to welcoming all of you at the exhibition.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Rohit. Thank you, Charu. Thank you, JK. We have explained to you quite a lot in detail, both about Elecrama and also IEEMA as a body, what we are doing. उस पे थोड़ा मैं ऐड करना चाहता हूँ basically. So, as we know, India is actually on path to becoming one of the largest economies in the world, third largest to be more precise. और वो उसके लिए होने के लिए actually it's very important that there will be a lot of focus on infrastructure, and power is an integral part of infrastructure. So there's a lot of opportunities for the sector coming out of this whole plan, which is in very advanced stage. Then, as the colleague also said, and my friend Mr. Rohit, that over 2 billion is expected to be invested globally, as the world is looking at India as an alternative to China, as China plus one, and we have a huge and mature manufacturing base already in India, and especially in the power sector also we have a very, very mature base for manufacturing almost everything which is required for the sector, and that gives us a huge opportunity as well. And then as India accelerates towards net zero, with renewable as the primary source of energy, so this will be actually a lot of opportunities are expected for this sector. And then beyond the T&D, there's a lot of opportunities from railways, for example. The railways are having massive plans, almost 12,000 plus railway kilometers of electrification is underway in the conventional railways, and metros, maybe a lot of work is going on for electrification. So that beyond T&D also opens up a lot of avenues. Now, on this backdrop, ये सब opportunities के समय पे most crucial critical time is where this Elecrama is being held. So Elecrama in the past, as JK also said, has been very, very successful. There's been a huge footfall, over 1 lakh people come daily. Our membership is about 1,000 manufacturers in India. All of them participate. Beyond them, also there is a lot of participation from non-members. Overseas they participate more. और सबसे बड़ी बात यह है कि जो गवर्नमेंट के प्लान्स है उसके लिए आर.के. सिंह जी, मिनिस्टर ऑफ पावर, has partnered with us. He's president of the pattern. He's inaugurating the exhibition. उसके बाद we are having an event specially curated for him as a CEO roundtable, where he wants to understand the issues of the industry to address them on a one-on-one basis. तो बहुत सी चीज़ इससे हो रही है इलेक्ट्रामा में, which is going to be in the interest of the industry and in the interest of also the nation. Now, beyond this, actually, I must share that all of us, my colleague Charu, JK, Rohit, and all of us, we visited Piyushi also, Ministry of Commerce, and he was extremely encouraging, as usual, this charismatic best, very hospitable. Actually, he was with us that day, and he brought back this when he was a power minister, actually. जो हमारे साथ जो संबंध था उनका actually, with IEEMA, with the power, with the industry as well, वो सब वापस he brought back those memories actually, and he was very excited to also participate at Elecrama. He's always been historically as well. So he is committed to come on one of the dates, I think 21st of this month actually, where he's going to be the chief guest, and we are curating an event completely around his expectations. So during that discussion, a lot of interesting matters were brought up. आज हमारा export जो है बहुत करीब से 10 billion US dollars है, तो वो चाहते थे कि इसको we have to achieve 30 billion, and he's given us that as a target, as an assignment कि वो करना ही है कैसे भी हमको. तो उसके लिए वो चाहते थे कि जो गवर्नमेंट से हमको सपोर्ट चाहिए. So we are creating now a white sheet which we are expected to give him, that what are the actions which will be needed from the government in order to achieve this target actually in the shortest possible next 4-5 years. So we are working on that, and that we presented to him. So that's a great move towards enhancing exports for the sector. So that is going to be underway. It will be also discussed further at the exhibition as well, and during his interaction. Besides that, we all recognize the fact that अगर exports करना है, we have to be export surplus nation. So we need to focus on our inherent improvements as well, areas of improvement. So we understand that quality is a definite need which has to be enhanced substantially. So उसके लिए as IEEMA, we already started this work that amongst the membership itself to create एक सोच बदलने की एक एफर्ट है कि हमको एक एक्चुअली अगर वर्ल्ड ग्लोबल प्लेयर बनना है, लीडर बनना है ग्लोब में, तो हमारी खुद की जो एफर्ट्स है, एक अप्रोच है, प्रोसेस है, वो क्वालिटी को काफी एनहांस करना है. एंड we have, as IEEMA, taken up that drive. There's been a lot of sessions with the industry players, and as you know, हमारे इंडस्ट्री में लार्ज प्लेयर्स तो है, मल्टीनेशनल तो है, लेकिन the maximum number of our membership is the MSMEs. तो उनके साथ मिलके उनको काफी हम सपोर्ट करेंगे एक्चुअली उनकी क्वालिटी बढ़ाने में. तो उसका भी एक मूवमेंट से शुरुआत होगा, एंड इन इलेक्ट्रामा लॉट ऑफ डिस्कशन विल बी टेकिंग प्लेस ऑन दैट आल्सो. दैट्स अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग. दूसरी बात हुई थी एक्चुअली के जो सर्टिफिकेशन हमारी लोकल लेबोरेटरीज है, CPRI जो है, उसको ग्लोबली एक्सेप्ट कराना है कस्टमर्स के पास. तो वो भी एक मिनिस्ट्रीज को सपोर्ट अस क्वाइट अ लॉट. So a lot of interesting things are happening. It's very vibrant times. I mean, when I meet my colleagues over here, we always feel the positive energies around us. Now, it's going to be a revolutionary change, not only in the industry, but for the whole economy as well. And that's why these are very exciting times, and that's why this Elecrama is even more exciting than the others. And my brother and friend, Chairman, he has actually taken this whole initiative in the last 1 year, that we have had road shows in across every city, almost every critical city, major city, small cities in the country, where we have propagated, promoted the exhibition in a very big way, connected with people so that उनको पता चले क्या चल रहा है. Communication is very important. He's done that effort, and we've not only been to obviously Bombay, Delhi, Calcutta, and all the other centers, but small places like Chandigarh, Panchkula, Lucknow, Guwahati में last year was actually, और नासिक जिस जगह भी किया हुआ है. So it's been like really spread, and उसका सब इफेक्ट भी पता चलेगा, and that's why I'm sure that under his leadership And the collective efforts of Charuji, of course, as DG and all of us, actually this Elecrama is going to be bigger and better than the best, than the past. So I strongly request all of you, the media, which is such an important medium, to communicate what is happening, to take this forward, come visit, see what is going on. New technologies will happen in a big way. My colleague, the chairman of WS, is over here. He'll speak more about the event. E-Tech Summit spoke about. These are phenomenal events. RTSM, so very, very exciting times. Please आइए, दिल्ली में ही है, आपके पास ही है. So promote in a very big way, which will help all of us and will help the country as well.
UP government is not going to be very happy with when you call UP Delhi.
Sorry, technically stand corrected. I mean, because we are one country. I keep on forgetting. We should do away with barriers. One country. So as we know now, हम जो बात करते हैं ना कि one country, one creed होना चाहिए. So that's why take away the barriers actually.
Thank you. सुनील जी, आपके बारे में आप क्या कहना चाहेंगे?
Good afternoon. I think President Jackson Rohit said that there is a lot of thirst on the Make in India, and the whole world is looking for the China Plus One. So, can you hear me?
Yes.
So, what is happening now in this event? There are more than 700 buyers from more than 75 countries are coming, and first time we have buyers from countries like US, North America. We have buyers from Australia. So first time we have buyers in Australia. In addition to that, we have more than 300 domestic buyers, whether from utilities, whether from defense, MES, whether from railways, smart cities. So 300 invited buyers will be there. So we'll have a large number of B2B meetings. We are expecting more than 15,000 meetings to happen. So I repeat, there are 700 invited buyers from more than 75 countries. And there are a lot of country delegations. We have delegations from Germany, we have delegations from France, we have delegations from UK and Canada. And as Rohit and JKG said, we will be signing a number of MOUs with various countries, and which will lead to the growth of the export out of India. So India has become a good manufacturing hub for the electric equipment. A number of multinationals are manufacturing in India. There's a lot of opportunities for America, and what this platform will give opportunity to increase the export of electric equipment. And we will be working very closely with the Ministry of Power and DHI to increase the export, which is a good platform to showcase the technology and the quality of the Make in India products.
Thank you, Sunil ji. So, couple of points I think what all my colleagues here on the table said before I move to others, and I asked JKG to talk a little more, is कि सबसे पहला इंडिया में इंटरेस्ट इस समय जो है इलेक्ट्रिकल इंडस्ट्री का, वो इस समय हम इलेक्ट्रामा में महसूस कर सकते हैं. जैसे सुनील जी ने बताया, 700 से ज़्यादा बायर्स हैं 75 कंट्रीज से. ऑलरेडी उनकी B2B मीटिंग्स फिक्स हो रही हैं. करीब 15,000 B2B मीटिंग इस शो में प्री शेड्यूल्ड हो. उसके अलावा जो ऑन द स्पॉट होंगी वो हमें नहीं मालूम. इससे बिजनेस इंक्वायरीज कितनी जनरेट होंगी ये तो हम आपको 22 तारीख को ही बता पाएंगे अगर आप हमारे साथ रहेंगे उस समय पे. नंबर 1. नंबर 2, काफ़ी इंटरनेशनल डेलीगेशंस और एसोसिएशंस हैं, जैसे सुनील जी ने बताया. बांग्लादेश से आ रहे हैं, ऑस्ट्रेलिया से आ रहे हैं, म्यांमार से आ रहे हैं, जाम्बिया से आ रहे हैं, अफ्रीका तो काफ़ी है, वियतनाम से, यूरोप और यूएस इस समय पहली बार मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ कॉमर्स ने MAI स्कीम के अंदर खोला है. तो उसके तहत भी हमारे पास 20-25 बायर जेन्युइन बायर हैं. ऑस्ट्रेलिया से तो पहली बार आ रहे हैं. ऑस्ट्रेलिया बहुत टफ मार्केट है. ऑस्ट्रेलिया टोटली, सुनील जी बताएंगे आपको, टोटली चाइना पे डिपेंडेंट है. जब हमजा जी, सुनील जी और मैं, हम लोग ऑस्ट्रेलिया गए थे तो वहाँ की यूटिलिटीज ने हमको बोला कि हम अब चाइना को ऑल्टरनेटिव ढूंढ रहे हैं, आप हमारी मदद करें. Right? So Australia is a very tough market, and we are breaking through in Australia. और यही कारण है that we are we've got such a big response. इसके अलावा ये तो बिजनेस है. इस बार रोहित ने आपको बताया कि हम 2 रिपोर्ट इस समय लॉन्च कर रहे हैं, जो रोहित जी आपको थोड़ा और डिटेल में इसके बारे में बता सकेंगे यदि आपके पास कोई क्वेश्चन होगा तो. नंबर 1. नंबर 2, इस बार हमने स्टार्टअप चैलेंज हमने लॉन्च किया. आपने नॉर्मली अगर आप स्टार्टअप की बात करेंगे, आपको जैसे हमारे JKG का है, आई गिव दिस क्रेडिट टू हिम, वो हमेशा कहते हैं स्टार्टअप का मतलब लोग सोचते हैं ई-कॉमर्स या IT. ये पहली बार पावर सेक्टर में स्टार्टअप के लिए हमने चैलेंज खोला. अतुल आर्य के बारे में आपको बता बता सकते हैं थोड़ा। पर देखिए आपने इस बार एग्जीबिशन में बहुत इम्प्रूवमेंट करी है, आपने विजिटर्स के लिए काफी फैसिलिटेशन किया है। आपका एक ड्रीम रहा था कि हम प्लास्टिक का यूसेज कम कर पाए, आप उसके बारे में थोड़ा बता पाएंगे? एग्जीबिशन में क्या चल रहा है ऑपरेशन के पॉइंट?
I will not take much time on this and thank you, PG. ये जितना भी जो इलेक्ट्रामा की सबसे खास बात है, सबसे पहले वो जरूर बोलना चाहूँगा। The reason इलेक्ट्रामा is where इलेक्ट्रामा is, this is the only exhibition probably in the world which is by the industry, with the industry, for the industry. हम exhibitors भी हैं, organizers भी हैं, so we work with that passion. All the people sitting on dais run respective large companies or part of the large company, they're part of the organizing committee also. That is the beauty of Elecrama. And when we decided this theme, reimagine energy for the sustainable future, there was a thought behind it. Because for the humankind, energy was oil for last 100 years. But for the future, electricity is going to be the energy for the humankind. Everything will run on electricity. Today we can't survive without electricity even for half an hour. So that is, and for that we are all about electricity at IEEMA. So to reimagine energy for a sustainable future, lot of things have been done. That is why we have a thematic partner on a sustainability Schneider or blessing sport project. So even the smallest of the things. See, rather than using the plastic bottles in the exhibition, we have created more than 40 water kiosks where you get the water on the paper glasses. Though for such a large world-class exhibition, it may sound very awkward, but when you talk of the future of the humankind, sustainability, this may matter a lot. We will reduce the plastic consumption big time. Same way, even the lanyards. Imagine 500,000 visitors coming over 5 days, and all these lanyards are made of plastic and just go in waste. At Elecrama, we have made lanyards which are biodegradable. So we have done a lot of hard work, lot of R&D was done with the vendor to make them, and I want to thank Mr. Sunil Singhvi especially for this, because a lot of work was happened with the vendor to make sure that these lanyards are biodegradable. These are small things. As humankind, as business communities, these small things, if we start taking care, that is why we can live on this theme of reimagine energy for a sustainable future. Apart from this, lot of visitor facilities, lot of small things have been taken care. So I don't want to go much into details. If you have any questions, I think I will be much happier to reply. But yes, we want to live the dream. When we say the theme, reimagine energy for sustainable future, we want to live that dream with the smallest of the things we want to do there, which is reimagine energy for sustainable future. Thank you.
थैंक यू। आई थिंक हमने तो काफी बात कर दी, बातचीत और आगे चलेगी। आपकी तरफ से कोई सवाल है तो वी बी हैप्पी टू टेक क्वेश्चन एंड आई विद योर परमिशन चेयरमैन आई विल क्वेश्चन टू अक्रॉस आवर मिक।
Can I have a mic?
कैन वी हैव अ माइक देयर इन द ऑडियंस?
Or I can start.
Somebody get it.
We have mics here.
बाइक भी कहीं और सवाल अभी नहीं कर।
जी
Good afternoon.
हाँ जी बताइए। And could you identify yourself as a paper?
My name is Sanjay Agarwal. I work for a portal, World News 24/7. So to Mr. Rohit and to everybody on the dais, I think I've been attending this for several years. So the questions which come to my mind, first question was about the green hydrogen. And when we were talking about power, so we understand that India is going big way electric vehicles. That's the Prime Minister's vision.
Right.
So now what's the question which arises is that whether when we are going in for power sector, I want Atulji to answer since he comes head Panasonic. So not maybe anybody else. So we just recently we've been meeting the minister. So things which are coming out is that these whatever resources are minerals. So India, already in the world. So we are going to be short-starved of these minerals once we are going in for electric vehicles, the batteries. Because lithium, cobalt, these are scarce. Although recently, like somebody has found, So one is that is the industry going to have whole discussions on those, that they wherever need to put a stop. Another thing is about the export-oriented units. So how many electrical manufacturers are present in the EOUs?
Atul, if you want to take just one question before, then I give it back to Rohit, since the question was directed at Atul. Atul, do you want to take it one? Okay. Rohit, do you want to take this one?
No, so let me start and then Atul can pitch in on the batteries specifically. But I think one, let me share green hydrogen and some of the unique technology. At this Elecrama edition, you see three things. One is, some of the players who are in this space are going to be exhibiting. So, for example, IEEMA, which is today the only manufacturer of electrolyzers of scale in India, is going to be there at Elecrama to showcase what they are doing. Second, both our reports, whether it is IEEMA reports, which we have done jointly with IEEMA, with IEEMA and IEEMA have jointly done. And even the Ambedkar report that has been released will both cover opportunity and what will it take to make green hydrogen scale to this requirement that the country has. Third, as part of E-Tech Next, we will have long discussions in some with experts and panels to debate and discuss how to make this really happen in the country and scale it up to the size that is required. Second, I think to your broader question, see, historically electricity was primarily in use for housing and home, and a little bit for the industry for the normal electrical application. But I think, hence, electricity as a portion of the larger energy consumption was only 15, 20, 25%. Today, with the focus on sustainability, and as JK said, as we move to replace oil and fossil fuels, the two big application areas where electricity will make inroads, one is going to be on the industry side, especially on the larger furnaces and the large energy consuming industry. And the second is the mobility side, right? The more heavy vehicles as well as the lighter vehicles. And for making this transition happen, the technologies which will be required are all that we are talking about as this exhibition, because all of them will require a very heavy electrical component in them, in terms of both materials as well as the equipment like motors and control panels and things that go into the each of these systems. So we will discuss all of them during this conference. I would like to carry by saying on all of them globally, we are in the early stage. Right? I think there is going to be a lot of changes that we see in the next 5 years in terms of which technology actually gets to scale, which technology will actually become economical and sustain for the longer run. And 2 points around this hence are, one, I think probably for the first time, India is at par or maybe even slightly ahead compared to most of the other countries in terms of how the solutions is going to happen on some of these technologies. Because unlike other countries, especially the developed ones, which are trying to displace their existing sources to become green, India is actually building new resources, right? We are building 7/8 of the India with NC 2047 is yet to be built, and we have the advantage of building it right. So that is one. The second is the reason that we are focusing so much on the startup ecosystem is because we want to ensure that we bring all different options to the industry. Because which of them is something we don't know today. But if we allow that innovation platform to be created where people can bring in their new ideas and thoughts, some one of them will probably catch on much faster than others. So we'll focus on that as the focus. Atul, maybe you can take the question on battery and resources. I think most times even lithium is just being found in India, so your answer becomes a little easier.
Yeah, I think so. That is the first comment about it. That so far more resources of for battery, lithium and cobalt and all, of course, are finite. But as humankind, we are trying to find new resources. Another advantage versus fossil fuel, like we use petrol, diesel, and other things, is that this resource can be recycled, which means that today the demand is very high, primarily because we are adding the capacity. We are adding new electric vehicles, we are adding new applications to the whatever. When the rate of growth is very high, but once we stabilize,
we don't expect this kind of growth to happen, whether it is electric cars or scooters or whatever. It will be more like stable, which means that we will be able to recycle these resources, and there is already a lot of work which has been done. So maybe we have a better chance versus what we do with the fossil fuel. And the second part of the answer is that there is also many companies, many startups working on different sort of chemistries which do not really need all of these or need much lesser quantities of these to give you better performance or super performance. And for that, you will have to come to Startup Challenge in next 3 days.
Sure.
Thank you. Any other questions? Yes.
ये बताइए कि इसमें बिजनेस की आप संभावना देख रहे हैं, बिजनेस की कितनी संभावनाएं देख रहे हैं, दूसरा हम लोग एक्सपोर्ट में कितने परसेंटेज बढ़ रहे हैं, जो बता दीजिए आप ऑस्ट्रेलिया से आ रहे हैं, चाइना से हम मार्केट बना लेंगे, तो कितना परसेंटेज हम आगे ग्रो कर रहे हैं, ऐसा सब देख करेंगे।
देखिए हर एग्जीबिशन में कितना बिजनेस नंबर्स में होगा, कि तो एग्जीबिशन के बाद ही हम आपको बेहतर नंबर बता पाएंगे। बट जो ये 15,000 फोकस B2B मीटिंग्स हैं, इसका हमने लास्ट ईयर से एक अपने फॉर्मूले के साथ एक परम्यूटेशन कॉम्बिनेशन बना के जो हमने कैलकुलेट किया, वी एक्सपेक्ट मोर देन $10 billion ऑफ बिजनेस गेटिंग एक्सचेंज विद दीज फोकस B2B मीटिंग्स, क्योंकि ये इसमें ट्रू व्यापार होगा। These are the serious people coming also all across the globe, all across the country. They are serious buyers, meeting the exhibitors with a pre-finalized meeting. और within the exhibition तो कितने लोग किनसे मिल रहे हैं, क्या व्यापार कर रहे हैं, it is very impossible to coin a number. So, but for these 15,000 meetings which are pre-scheduled, this is the number we can.
This is a business inquiry.
These are business inquiries. Absolutely.
Also, I will just add that look, in this exhibition, with the geopolitics जो पिछले 1-2 साल में हुआ है, where almost every country is looking for China plus one, credibility of India and Indian suppliers and business ethics is very high. I think this is a time where we are, as an industry, showcasing what we can do. And all the delegations, many of the countries who are coming, I think they will go back with a clear message, and our objective will be to build on these connects to showcase our industry in some of these countries even more strongly, because lot of their products they can buy from us. Just so that you understand, India today is already the single largest synchronized one grid in the world, and in terms of capacity overall as a country, we will probably be number 2 today. So I think we are very fast focusing where we have all our solutions. So as we begin to ask them, what are we doing? The world will also start looking at us as a big supplier of these material and equipment. But for that, I think Hamza ji ne bola, that is our focus in the industry. Focus on quality, focus on reliability. That is one area which we have to work on. But the interest is very high. Many international delegations are coming to see. And that will lead to a lot more, business over the coming years. And in terms of numbers, by 2030, we think from an industry of about 50 billion today, we will become a $100 billion plus industry with almost 3x growth in the export that we do today from about 8 billion to 25 billion plus.
I think what Rohit said, I think last year we had a electric equipment export of $10 billion. In the first 6 months of this year, we already had 5.8 billion. So already export of electric equipment is growing. Whether it's a conductor, tower, motors, every equipment is exported out of India. A number of multinationals have set up manufacturing plants in India and are exporting out of India. So there is a lot of opportunities for Make in India. And I think, as we said earlier, whether buyers from North America, Europe, Australia, Southeast Asia, Middle East, we have got a vice chairman of Joint Chamber of Commerce, correct? Chairman is coming here. And this is the first time such a senior person is coming to interact with the industry in India.
I'll go to her.
जी, आपका जो सवाल था उसके जवाब में मैं एक चीज कहना चाहता हूँ कि विद इन एलेक्रामा एक RBSN कमेटी है जो रिवर्स बायस सेलर मीट देखती है, जिसका फोकस ये था कि आप कैसे ग्रोथ बढ़ा सकते हैं अपनी, राइट। तो हमने इस बार कुछ नए चैलेंजेस लिए। कुछ हमारे टिपिकल मार्केट हैं जहाँ पे हम शुरू से एक्सपोर्ट करते हुए आ रहे हैं, तो हमको उन एक्सपोर्ट को बचाना है और वहाँ पे इंक्रीमेंटल ग्रोथ करना है। प्लस कुछ हमने ऐसी कंट्रीज आइडेंटिफाई की जहाँ से पहले कभी कोई बायर नहीं आए थे, तो वो वैसी कंट्रीज में इस वक्त जो है ऑलमोस्ट 25 से 30% इजाफा हुआ है। और जैसा कि सिंघवी साहब ने बताया, पहली बार जीसीसी रीजन जो मतलब हमारे सबसे करीब है, जहाँ पे एक्सपोर्ट करना हमारे लिए बहुत आसान हो सकता है डिस्टेंस की वजह से और प्रॉक्सिमिटी की वजह से, वहाँ पे फुजेरा चैम्बर ऑफ कॉमर्स से 4 लोगों का डेलीगेशन आ रहा है, विच इज लेड बाय चेयरमैन ऑफ देयर बोर्ड ऑफ डायरेक्टर, जो रॉयल फैमिली के मेंबर है, रूलिंग फैमिली के मेंबर हैं। तो इस तरह के स्टेचर के लोग आ रहे हैं। बहुत सारी कंपनीज से उनके जो लोकल जैसे लोकल टीम है वो आ रही है। पहले यहाँ पे इंडियंस आते थे या जो नीचे के स्टाफ लोग आते थे, इस बार हम लोगों ने कोशिश करके जो डिसीजन मेकर्स हैं उन पे फोकस किया है। तो जब वो आएंगे तो डेफिनेटली उसका इम्पैक्ट जो है वो बहुत ज्यादा होगा।
केन्या के पावर सेक्रेटरी आ रहे हैं।
एग्जैक्टली,
केन्या के पास है, राइट। मैडम आपका क्वेश्चन।
मेरा सवाल है, ये इलेक्ट्रमा जो है अपनी इलेक्ट्रमा की लोकप्रियता बढ़ाने के लिए ईमा किस तरीके से प्रदर्शन कर रहा है और 2023 में आने वाले प्रदर्शकों की संख्या में वृद्धि कहाँ देखते हैं?
तो आप ही का जवाब
जब शुरू में भी मेरे सब साथियों ने बताया था कि इस बार इलेक्ट्रामा का जो रोड शो है, हमने लगभग मोर देन 25 रोड शो किया था ऑल अक्रॉस द ग्लोब। और पहले हम क्या करते थे इलेक्ट्रामा में, पिछले संस्करण पर कि 3-4 बड़े मेट्रोज को पकड़ा, दिल्ली, बॉम्बे, कलकत्ता, और वहीं पे जाते थे। और इलेक्ट्रामा एक इतनी इम्पोर्टेंट और इतनी बड़ी एग्जीबिशन हो चुकी है कि इसको बेचना तो कोई कभी हमें चैलेंज होता ही नहीं था। तो वाई वी वेंट ऑल अक्रॉस डाउन द लाइन। तो हम चाहते हैं कि इलेक्ट्रामा में जो हमारी सबसे बड़ी सोच है, जो मैंने पहले भी बोला था कि वन एग्जीबिशन इज बाय द इंडस्ट्री, विद द इंडस्ट्री, फॉर द इंडस्ट्री, कि हम लोग सिर्फ बड़ी कंपनियों पे फोकस नहीं है। ये एक ऐसी एग्जीबिशन है जिसमें आपको एसएमईज भी मिलेंगे, एमएसएमईज भी मिलेंगे, लार्ज मल्टीनेशनल्स भी मिलेंगे, और हम सबके लिए एक प्लेटफॉर्म क्रिएट करते हैं। तो इस बार इंडिया में भी लगभग हर इम्पोर्टेंट बिजनेस सिटी जितना भी आप सोचेंगे, स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम चंडीगढ़, लखनऊ, गुवाहाटी, कोयम्बटूर, कोचीन, you name it, Nasik, Hyderabad, Chennai. We went almost Jaipur, almost every city of this country. And then out of India, we did our events, roadshows in Ethiopia, Thailand, Germany, Paris, Indonesia, so Australia. So ऐसा कोई भी हमने सेक्टर जगह नहीं छोड़ी यहाँ पे, because the whole world is looking at China plus one. लेकिन इस अपॉर्चुनिटी को अभी नहीं हम लोगों ने आगे बढ़ के एग्रेसिवली मार्केट किया, विच ईमा इलेक्ट्रामा हैज डन वेरी वेल। तो आप ये समझिए कि पूरी दुनिया में हमने कोई ऐसा इम्पोर्टेंट शो, कोई हिंदुस्तान में ऐसा कोई इम्पोर्टेंट एरिया नहीं छोड़ा जहाँ पे हमने रोड शोज नहीं किए, पब्लिसिटी नहीं करी। हर इलेक्ट्रिकल इंडस्ट्री की मैगजीन में आप इलेक्ट्रामा की पब्लिसिटी को देखेंगे। ऑनलाइन हम लोग ऑल सोशल मीडिया, ट्विटर, फेसबुक, लिंक्डइन, यू विल सी there's a lot of buzz. All important places we are doing marketing of Elecrama. So this we have brought all out to showcase Elecrama to the whole country, to the whole world. If this is the place, anything in the electrical industry you want under one roof, Elecrama is the place to do.
I'll add 2 more points. I think I'll add 3 more points on that. जो सबसे बड़ा सहयोग हमको मिला है भारत सरकार के विदेश मंत्रालय से और वाणिज्य मंत्रालय से। हमारे IOC की टीमों ने बहुत देशों की यात्रा करी और बहुत खुशी की बात और बहुत सहयोग हमको मिला वहाँ के वाणिज्य दूतावासों का। जो हम यहाँ ला पाए जितने देशों से, उसमें विदेश मंत्रालय वाणिज्य मंत्रालय का बहुत बड़ा सहयोग रहा है और उनके दूतावासों के सहयोग से हम इतने बड़े वरिष्ठ अधिकारियों को ला पा रहे हैं। हम उनका भी आभार व्यक्त करते हैं।
और हमारे
एक
सेकंड और हमारे जो केंद्रीय पावर मिनिस्टर हैं आर.के. सिंह जी, उन्होंने खुद काफी कंट्रीज को इस बारे में लिखा है, अपने काउंटर पार्ट्स को लिख के इन्वाइट किया, यही कहने के लिए कि ये इंडियन इलेक्ट्रिकल इंडस्ट्री का सबसे बड़ा शो है और आप आए। तो आई थिंक सरकार की तरफ से जो रिकग्निशन है कि इलेक्ट्रामा में व्यापार होता है, इससे बड़ा और इसका नहीं होता।
What is the sales target?
जैसा कि देखिए सेल्स टारगेट इज ए वेरी सब्जेक्टिव वर्ड। ऐसे कोई किसी भी प्रदर्शनी में कितना व्यापार कौन किससे कर रहा है ये हमको एज ऑर्गेनाइजर कभी पता नहीं चल सकता। जैसा मैंने शुरू में भी बोला था कि हमने अपने फॉर्मूले से जो कैलकुलेट किया, जो फोकस्ड मीटिंग हम लोग बिजनेस मीटिंग कर रहे हैं इलेक्ट्रामा में विद इन द बायर्स एंड एग्जीबिटर, वो हमारी कैलकुलेशन में लगभग $10 बिलियन की इंक्वायरीज वहाँ जनरेट होगी इन फोकस्ड मीटिंग।
इलेक्ट्रामा अपने राष्ट्रीय और अंतर्राष्ट्रीय परिप्रेक्ष्य को देखते हुए बदलते हुए भारत में जो हमारे प्राइम मिनिस्टर हैं उनके जो लक्ष्य रखा इकोनॉमी का उसको प्राप्त करने में आप कितना मानते हैं कि लक्ष्य पूरा हो पाएगा? तो लक्ष्य के ऊपर जाएंगे।
बिल्कुल, जैसे मैंने पहले भी बताया कि ये लक्ष्य तो देखते हुए ये जो अपॉर्चुनिटीज आई हुई है हमारे लिए, बिकॉज जैसे वो लक्ष्य है इकोनॉमी को बढ़ाने की, और जैसे मैंने पहले बताया कि वो एक्चुअली infrastructure is the most critical aspect of any growing economy and power is a very integral part of it. तो power के अभी ये जो पूरा transition हो रहा है power में, जो conventional oil और gas जो sources थे energy के, वो power हो electricity होगा और आगे चलते green hydrogen होगा। तो हमारे जो प्रधानमंत्री उनका ये एक ड्रीम है, एक ऑब्जेक्टिव है, एक सोच है कि इंडिया विल बी द मेजर सोर्स ऑफ इलेक्ट्रिसिटी and then green hydrogen, not only to make us self-sufficient, but to export to the world. तो वो बेस के ऊपर, वो फाउंडेशन के ऊपर, India is expected to become one of the largest economies of the world. तो वही दिशा में, वही ड्रीम की वजह से, वही एक सोच की वजह से, वही एक प्लान की वजह से, we are all, the whole electricity industry and the whole power industry is a very, very critical, part of this whole objective.
I think I like what Sandal is saying. आपने आर्टिफिशियल स्कीम का नाम सुना होगा, जो डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन तंत्र मजबूत करने के लिए 3 लाख करोड़ रुपए का इन्वेस्टमेंट सेक्टर में किया जा रहा है। पहले आपने सुना होगा हर घर बिजली पहुंचेगी, वो जो ग्रामीण क्षेत्र के उद्योग को बढ़ावा मिल रहा है, बट अगले आने वाले वर्षों में 3 लाख करोड़ का इन्वेस्टमेंट, दुनिया को इतना बड़ा बाजार नहीं है। जैसा आपने बढ़ा होगा 25 करोड़ लगाए जा रहे हैं, दुनिया का कोई बाजार नहीं है। जो आर्टिफिशियल की स्कीम है भारत सरकार के विद्युत मंत्रालय की, उसमें जो विद्युत जो अपना है डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन सिस्टम, उसको मजबूत करने के लिए 3 लाख करोड़ रुपए का इन्वेस्टमेंट किया जा रहा है। इतना बड़ा इन्वेस्टमेंट किसी भी सेक्टर में नहीं हो रहा है। उसके अलावा 19,000 करोड़ रुपए की स्कीम आई है। तो मैं आपको चाह रहा हूँ कि जो इस क्षेत्र में जो इन्वेस्टमेंट होना चाहिए, ईवी हो चाहे ग्रीन हाइड्रोजन हो, चाहे डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन को मजबूत करने का हो। आप भारत के हर घर में बिजली जा रही है, हर गाँव में बिजली जा रही है, उससे अपने आप इकोनॉमिक डेवलपमेंट होगा, कुटीर उद्योग बढ़ेंगे, बड़े उद्योग बढ़ेंगे।
और इसी श्रृंखला में जो सबसे बड़ी चीज जैसे मिस्टर सिंघवी ने बोली कि जितने भी 3 लाख करोड़ रुपए खर्च होंगे जो गवर्नमेंट की स्कीम है, ये सारे उत्पादन भारत में ही होगा। जितने भी स्मार्ट मीटर्स हैं, ट्रांसफार्मर्स हैं, जितने भी ये केबल कंडक्टर, जितना भी आप ये उत्पादन देखेंगे, ये सारा भारत में ही होगा। और 100% इन सारे प्रोडक्ट्स मैन्युफैक्चरिंग और ये सारे प्रोड्यूसर इलेक्ट्रामा में आपको मिलेंगे बहुत बड़े रूप में। आप ये समझिए कि यदि पूरे हिंदुस्तान में यदि बिजली में 3 लाख करोड़ रुपए अगले 5 साल में खर्च होते हैं, उसके लिए आपने जैसे देखा कि 25 करोड़ स्मार्ट मीटर्स चाहिए, आपको लाखों ट्रांसफार्मर चाहिए, केबल कंडक्टर, इतनी पेरिफेरल इंडस्ट्री। दिस विल जनरेट मोर देन 1 मिलियन जॉब ओनली फ्रॉम वन सिंगल स्कीम। तो इसमें तो कोई शक ही नहीं है कि ये जितनी भी इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर रिलेटेड स्कीम्स और पावर सेक्टर में इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर से रिलेटेड जो काम हो रहा है, वो गवर्नमेंट का पूरा विजन एकदम क्लियर है कि भारतीय कंपनियां ही इन कामों को अंजाम दें। ये बहुत अच्छी बात है जो इनका उत्पादन है।
ठीक है, सिलसिले में बताता हूँ, जो ग्रीन हाइड्रोजन का स्कीम आया है, मिशन आया है, उसमें 8 लाख करोड़ का इन्वेस्टमेंट होगा और 6 लाख जॉब क्रिएट किए जाएंगे। 8 लाख करोड़ का इन्वेस्टमेंट होगा, 6 लाख जॉब होंगे। दुनिया में इतना बड़ा काम नहीं हुआ है। उसके अलावा जो हमारे कंसल्टेंट IEEMA जो स्टडी करी है, सोलर कैपेसिटी 77 to 97 गीगावाट, सब्सटेशन कैपेसिटी 360 to 470 गीगावाट GVA। आप इसके सोर्सेस से कितने इक्विपमेंट चाहिए? इलेक्ट्रिक चार्जर आज पेपर पढ़े थे, वो IEEMA का एस्टीमेट है, सब तरह के चार्जर मिला के असूली 10 करोड़ चार्जर के एस्टीमेट आ रहा है 2030 तक। इलेक्ट्रिक हाईवेज की बात हो रही है। अगर आप देखें जो नए मास्टर प्लान आ रहे हैं, उसमें हर कॉलेज चार्जर की बात कर रही है। तो मैं आपको शो करना चाहता हूँ कि जो समय एक माहौल है, वो सब इलेक्ट्रिक इंडस्ट्री के लिए सबसे बड़ा माहौल है।
मैं चाहूँगा कि इस तरह से
अभी इंडिया की जो पर कैपिटा कंजम्पशन एलपीजी के 1.2 1500 के आसपास, ये अगले 25 साल में 6 से 8 गुना बढ़ेगी। अगर आप देखें तो आप जो भी हम डिजिटल बात करते हैं, सब डिजिटल टेक्नोलॉजी इलेक्ट्रिसिटी पे ही चलती है। या आपका फोन हो जो आप चार्ज करते हो, या आपका वाईफाई सिस्टम है जो आप इलेक्ट्रिसिटी कनेक्ट करते हो, या आपका घर का एसी है जो इलेक्ट्रिसिटी पे चलता है। तो जिस तरह से जब आप इंडिया की डेवलपमेंट की बात करते हैं, इंडिया बिकमिंग नंबर 2 इकोनॉमी बाय 2047, नंबर 3 इकोनॉमी बाय 2030 और इवन अर्लियर, उसके लिए ये डेवलपमेंट में डिजिटलाइजेशन विल इंक्रीज। As that increases, electricity will be your main source for that digitalization. And hence, with that growth, even in the next 7-8 years, our renewable capacity of power generation will go from 150 or 175 gigawatts today to 500 gigawatts, 3 times. Right? उसके लिए आपको ट्रांसमिशन नेटवर्क लगेंगे, आपको सबस्टेशन लगेंगे, आपको डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन सिस्टम लगेंगे, आपको कंट्रोल पैनल लगेंगे, which is all going to come from the electrical industry, which is there. So I think this is probably the biggest sector जहाँ से आपकी greening of the economy हो।
आपका कुछ सवाल इधर से कोई प्रश्न?
हाँ, 2023 में ईमा का क्या टारगेट है, किस तरीके से ये देख रही है 2023 को, कितना आगे इस प्रोजेक्ट को लेकर के वो जाना चाह रही है?
कौन से प्रोजेक्ट?
ये जो ईमा का जो प्रोजेक्ट है इलेक्ट्रिसिटी को आगे बढ़ाने के लिए 2023 में किस तरीके से प्लानिंग है इसको आगे बढ़ाने की, क्या क्या प्लानिंग है और क्या क्या योजनाएं हैं इसको आगे बढ़ाने को लेकर?
Rohit, do you want to talk about the 4 priorities or you want?
आई थिंक जो आपने बोला, हमारे प्रेसिडेंट ने बोला था, जो हमारा फोकस है 3-4 एरिया में। एक तो न्यू एनर्जी, चाहे स्टोरेज की टेक्नोलॉजी हो, चाहे ग्रीन हाइड्रोजन, वहाँ भारत सरकार के साथ कंधा मिलाकर उसको बढ़ा देने का काम करें। ग्रीन हाइड्रोजन मिशन आसाम एग्जाम करना बहुत है। दूसरा हमने बोला मैकेनिकल क्वालिटी इंप्रूव करना। हम अपने सभी हमारे मोस्ट मेंबर एमएसए में 70% मोर देन 80% मेंबर, और हमारे मोर देन 950 मेंबर्स हैं। हम गुणवत्ता पे और जोर देके हमारा भारत का निर्यात बढ़े, एक्सपोर्ट बढ़े, वो हमारा क्राइटेरिया है। ये वर्चुअल फॉर सक्सेसफुल कॉन्सेप्ट भी काम कर रहे हैं। तो स्किल इंडिया का जो मिशन है, हम पिछले 3-4 साल से बहुत क्लोजली काम कर रहे हैं स्किल में, कि जो एम्पावर चाहिए सेक्टर के लिए वो तो हमारे नई टेक्नोलॉजी, ग्रीन टेक्नोलॉजी, रिन्यूएबल टेक्नोलॉजी पर हम काम कर रहे हैं, स्टोरेज पे काम करेंगे सरकार के साथ, स्किल पे काम करेंगे और भारत से एक्सपोर्ट बढ़े, इस पर हम काम करेंगे। हमारे मेंबरशिप की क्वालिटी सुधरे और हम विश्व में इलेक्ट्रिकल सबसे बड़ा एक्सपोर्टर बन जाए, इस दिशा में आगे बढ़ेंगे।
Any other question?
My question is about GDP. How much does your association, all the members put together, and then the unorganized sector, we contribute to the GDP?
देखिए, डायरेक्ट बड़ा डिफिकल्ट क्वेश्चन है, डायरेक्ट इनडायरेक्टली, बट
बड़े अखबारों के लिए
मैंने बोला $50 बिलियन की इंडस्ट्री है, और इसके अलावा जो सर्विसेज सेक्टर में काम कर रहे हैं, जैसे आपको मीटर लगाना, मीटर सप्लाई करने के लिए इंडस्ट्री नहीं है, मीटर लगाने के लिए लेबर चाहिए, रिन्यूएबल प्लांट आएंगे तो उसको लगाने के लिए चाहिए, इलेक्ट्रिकल व्हीकल आएंगे तो उसको मैन्युफैक्चरिंग में चाहिए। तो मैं खाली ये कहता हूँ कि जो हमारा कंट्रीब्यूशन टू जीडीपी है वो बढ़ रहा है। एपिसोड नंबर
That's right.
You want to comment?
Roughly from a manufacturing perspective only, we are close to 1.5%, 2%. 2%. That's all manufacturing. But जैसे आपने बोला, not just even अगर आप basic wire fan देखें जो घर पे आपको लगता है, उसका भी जो service component है is very large. And this 1.5-2% we think in the next 8 to 10 years will grow to 3% of the economy, and energy and electricity will become very important for the economy's growth itself.
So, दूसरा question, अभी the petroleum minister Shri Hardeep Puri ji was at the India, there's an IEEMA, bioenergy summit here, and there's another one. So where the green hydrogen thing was brought out, that week there was a report in the Times of India that green hydrogen is highly inflammable, more than the LPG what we have in our kitchen. And even the minister was saying that transportation is going to be a major issue. So, means because what is happening in India, all these sectors are not putting together their resources. So whether it's your bodies or it's other bodies. So the Confederation of Indian Industries or FICCI, they have their own think tanks. Wo reports, and this young bee jo de rahi hai, they also have youngsters who bring out. So nothing is, happening on the ground level. Another question related to is about green buildings. I want an answer on green buildings, because green buildings is an architect's perspective. So how do they really engage with you? Because wo log apna.
We can answer that. I think luckily we can answer that.
और एक last question हो रहा मैम before I end.
क्वेश्चन आंसर करके फिर आप अपना सोचिए नहीं तो मुझे
तो आपको प्रेसिडेंट ने ये मेंशन किया था कि हम इंडिया ग्रीन बिल्डिंग काउंसिल के साथ एक MOU साइन कर रहे हैं ड्यूरिंग Elecrama. Because rightly so, what you pointed out, one of our focus is energy efficiency in electrical products and buildings. That's one. Two, हम लोग already हमारे इस Elecrama में there are very focused sessions where MEP consultants are talking about what is the future technology required for electrical products and what's the business is as far as green building is concerned. Come you want to talk about the MEP consultants meet?
आपका एक जो दूसरा सवाल भी था, असल में
मुझे बड़ी खुशी हो रही है उसका जवाब।
ओवरऑल ग्रोथ तभी होगा जब डिफरेंट एसोसिएशन विल कम टुगेदर and start working in the direction which will lead us to a common goal. तो अभी पिछले दिनों हम लोगों ने एक बहुत बड़ा कन्वेंशन किया गोवा में, जहाँ पे इंडिया के टॉप MEP कंसल्टेंट जो हैं वो सब इकट्ठा हुए और हम लोग IEEMA की तरफ से उनके साथ डेलिब्रेशन शुरू किया और उसको आगे लेके जाते हुए हम लोग Elecrama में भी वो लोग आ रहे हैं और वी हैव ए स्पेशल सेशन जहाँ पे वो आकर के हम लोगों को या हमारे जो मैन्युफैक्चरर्स हैं उनको बताएंगे कैसे हम लोग साथ में कोलैबोरेट करके इन बिल्डिंग्स को ग्रीन बना सकते हैं, एफिशिएंसी इंक्रीज कर सकते हैं, लॉसेस को रिड्यूस कर सकते हैं. तो IEEMA की जो लीडरशिप है अभी इस वक्त वो इसी डायरेक्शन में ज़्यादा सोच रही है कि जहाँ पे हमारी जो वीकनेसेस हैं उसको ओवरकम करें और जो स्ट्रेंथ है उसको फोर्टिफाई करके साथ में आगे बढ़ें.
I can add, as one of the events of Elecrama, co-located events, is called World Utility Summit. That is founded on collaboration. IEEE जो कि world की सबसे largest professional body है, that is collaborated with Elecrama, IEEMA, and we have put together this event. There are 6 tracks. जो 6 themes पे बात करेंगे, जो सब आपने अभी सुने कि how the world around us is changing. एक बहुत महत्वपूर्ण बात ये है कि पिछले 3 सालों में अगर आज हम सब लोग एक बैठ के बात कर पा रहे हैं, वो सिर्फ इलेक्ट्रिकल पावर इंडस्ट्री जो यूटिलिटीज है और जो भी इकोसिस्टम है, चाहे वेंडर्स हैं, चाहे सर्विस प्रोवाइडर्स हैं, only because of their support we are today able to sit and have this conversation. Otherwise, what we all have seen in the pandemic, we would, I don't need to say anything. Whether it was medical supply, whether it was transport, or even things like education for children sitting at home, nothing would have been possible if electrical industry had not stood up on its feet, whether it is the utilities or whether it is the industries as such. Now, as you have seen, the whole world around us is changing. One is, of course, decarbonization. The other is geopolitics, which is pushing us towards self-reliance of the fuels, as well as developing our own resources. So all these topics, there are going to be 6 themes which we will cover during the World Utility Summit. और हर थीम के लिए एक एमिनेंट नॉलेज पार्टनर है जो कि इस सब्जेक्ट का है, चाहे वो स्टोरेज है, वहाँ पे इंडियन एनर्जी स्टोरेज अलायंस, दे आर आवर पार्टनर्स. Like that, for every team there is a partner who are working with IEEMA and Elecrama, and we will release the knowledge papers in that.
Thank you, Vikram. Any other questions?
Yes. How much work IEEMA has done in the transport sector so far?
Transport?
Yeah.
We're beginning, I think, to talk, to have these dialogues with the e-mobility sector. I think that's the beginning that we are doing. Rohit, you want to add?
Yeah, no, so I think there are 2 points. I think one, as the EV sector has 2 elements. One is the EV charging infrastructure, and the other is the components that will go inside a vehicle, the battery systems, control systems. So I think on the first EV charging infrastructure, a lot of the capacity will come from our existing industry. On the internals of the batteries and other systems, some of them are the normal auto supply chain which are getting or scaling up in this space. And that's why at IEEMA we are also consciously working with them. So you see Atul sitting here, while he's a long time member who's been very active here, but he is leading some of our push into getting some of these new sectors which will interface very closely with the electrical system to be part of IEEMA so that we can work in tandem. I'll also, I think, emphasize that, look, as part of CII, there is a group of associations which meet regularly as part of CII, where some of these common themes which cut across different sectors, we're trying to work together so that we work and propagate each other's strength versus trying to work in isolation to your earlier point. So yes, there is some coordination, more can be done. In some of these areas, we are taking the lead where, as IEEMA, we are center of some of them. In other areas, maybe a SIAM or some others will take the lead and we'll collaborate with them as the senior council.
So, Rohit, you can also mention about e-rail Urja, which is there. Mobility, you cannot be only with road mobility, also the train, electrical network is there.
No, sir, actually, I think very good point, Vikram. I think maybe I should highlight that, look, if you look at the last 6 to 8 years, one of the biggest deltas in our oil dependence has been on the railway electrification that has happened. And IEEMA and its membership has played a very key role in making that happen in terms of both equipment supply and EPC. So we have a division of railways and railway electrification, which has been working very actively with the government on this area. And you obviously all are familiar with the pace of railway electrification over the last 6 to 8 years. I think similarly, the road side will start now and we will work on that. At Elecrama, you will find rail Urja as one of the key pavilions and kind of discussion that we will have on the next phase of railway electrification that is expected to happen, including metros.
Thank you. Thank you.
Also doing after conference on this.
Yeah. So, Raj, I wanted to ask you, as Rajan and Dubro, you are a large exhibitor. Why do you come to it?
As we have discussed, this is for the industry, by the industry. So how can we be outside as one of the largest players in providing services? We always have to be here. Now, apart from all this, we are also trying to make this entire experience very worthwhile for visitors, exhibitors, as well as the business participants. So I'd like to mention that we have launched an Elecrama app, which is supposed to make life easier. We have the support of the local administration also, so that we don't have any hassles getting into the exhibition, getting out of the exhibition. And we request you all to spread the message, make use of this opportunity. This exhibition is happening once in 2 years. It's worthwhile, and we seek your support in spreading the right.
Thank you, Raj. Actually, we come back after 3 years, so because of COVID. So we invite you all to Elecrama. Please come and visit. It's an experience. Please experience for yourself what Elecrama brings. Is there any more questions?
The last one, which Sir Rohit is waiting, I just wanted to ask, solar power, right? So we are talking about the solar panels and everything that's happening. Many years back, there was a person from the ITDC who retired as general manager, and I happened to be associated with him about 30 years back, and we had developed a solar cooker then, and that doesn't need a panel also. So is your industry not going in first when you're talking about, the housewife who's cooking? or even the Prime Minister needs to address this question when they're talking about energy, fuel, So when they're talking about solar cooker without any solar panel.
You must have seen that recently there was when Prime Minister went for India this week, a new type of solar cooker, which is even during, otherwise solar cooker working on daytime.
Yes, sir.
There's an Indian always developed a solar cooker, which can even do evening hours.
Yes, sir.
So a lot of advancement is taking place, and what Atul was talking about, startups, and we at IEEMA have taken initiative of identifying what news being developed and what news needed. So a lot of things are happening in India. When you come to this Elecrama and startup award, you will see a lot of many things happening in this field.
You're going to do funding for the startups? Any plans for the funding?
We are doing the awards. So these 100 startups, out of them 12 have been shortlisted. They have been given free space to showcase their products in their startup pavilion. Plus, they will get the cash awards, the first 3 entries.
But then you need to fund them for a longer duration.
Yeah, that will over a period of time.
There is an event in the next financial technology, there is an event capital raise. So we are getting financial sector experts and the industry leaders, and they will interact with the new industries. And there are opportunities, there will be, opportunity to fund it.
So, just before I close, Atul, you want to make one point?
Just basically about this, startups that we were talking about. So as you see, there is this huge potential in the industry, and we need to build an ecosystem as well. So, like we all discussed earlier, that typically startups are from an IT or minority basis. But now there's a huge interest being generated in our core sectors, the power sector, and this is also encouraging a lot of students now to come back to the core sector as well. So from that point of view also, we can see this movement coming in, and this will continue now, and this will build the ecosystem. So they not only will bring in the best of technologies out of the startups, but also keep on building up capabilities with more and more people coming in, and that's what we really need, to strengthen the whole sector from the root, from the core actually, because otherwise we'll not be able to keep up to the expectations of the world, the demands, not only internally but externally as well. So this is a great initiative taken by IEEMA among so many others. The other thing is that typically Elecrama used to be a T&D show, a transmission distribution show. This time it's gone beyond. We are going to defense, smart cities. A lot of people are coming from remote places like the Northeast itself. There are a lot of areas which listed out over here. Key people who are all coming in over here. And in the RPSM and TBSM also earlier there were people only coming from utilities. But I think there are no actually industry savvy, actually consultants are in. So it's a huge spread. It's very diversified and it's covering more and more and more and more areas of the electrical industry and power.
On startups, I think Arjun, make the one last point, Atul.
Sure.
Just a second. You wanted to make that point about taking startups to fourth.
Yeah, of course. So I think a lot has been said about startup challenge which we have started. This is the first time we are doing this, and why we are doing it is because we realized as an industry body that there is a huge opportunity not just in India but also outside the country because of these new technologies. So market is much larger, and this is going to cover all of these opportunities. And at the same time, we want to continue with the startups to hear the industry problems during this show and even after this show, so that more and more startups are encouraged to participate in this kind of a program and create a larger opportunity. I have a question here. Go ahead.
The government of India has talked about in the forthcoming budgets about huge spending in green energy. What is your organization's viewpoint on that? Because even if government is spending, capital investment is there, but the industry itself has to find enough money for the green energy or what you call solar energy or wind energy to build a big entity on that. What is your expectation, one, on the government initiative for the forthcoming budget, and where will the funding come from? And have you estimated any long-term, 3 years or 5-term funding that will be required by the industry as a whole?
Thank you. I think, as we said, you want to take the. I think you are right. I think there's a lot of focus on the renewable and the green hydrogen, etc. Even for the green hydrogen, we need about 25 gigawatts of the solar energy. And I think the investment will come from the private sector because you see the solar corporation of everybody has probably a lot of vendors and a lot of contracts getting awarded. So a lot of capacity is in pipeline, a lot of it is being developed, and a lot of private investment is coming. Let me assure you that the whole world is looking to India to invest because this is the fastest growing market for whether storage, whether renewable, or whether consumer side also. So I don't see there is an investment is coming in India. I think that investors are looking for India, and I think you see for any state is attracting investors. Because huge investments are in pipeline. And I think more than $2 trillion will be invested in sectors over coming years. That's what our estimate is there. Yeah. So I see there is I am very positive here, the industry are very positive.
No, I just add one point to this. See, I think like I said earlier, think of it in this way. If you look at the global renewable investment and scale, no other country has the scale that India will offer. Second, like I said, in India, we are going to build for new use versus in most other developed countries where they will build to replace. Right? So if you look at just the basic inherent economics, the build to new use will always have better returns in general for money to go and chase after. So I think we will see the global funds and money coming a lot more focused manner into India around green energy and renewable sources, and hence will provide the source for us to scale up.
Second part of the question is that bigger capital organizations, whether the IEEMA or World Bank, they don't fund green energy. They are not readily very as convincing in funding like power grid or for that matter for the thermal or hydro project as much they are interested in funding green projects, whether it is solar or wind. Do you think that Government of India has to work on that, or would you as an industry would like to tell or convince the Government of India to look into that aspect? Because I am told that IMF and World Bank don't fund solar projects as much as they do the conventional energy projects.
No, in fact, I would say it's now going to also become in the reverse. Although all these projects where the global funds and financial houses are asking for, including IMF, are looking for green sources because that's how the global dynamics is also changing. I think last 1 or 2 years, there was a bit of a slump on how the whole sustainability agenda globally was moving. But I think with the stance that India has taken, and as we take drive this G20 presidency this year, this is one area where I think you will see the change in global funding happening more around green. In fact, it will be tougher to get money and loans for some of the older fossil fuel based technology, and green will attract more money going forward.
Thank you everyone. If there are any more questions, we can take it up separately.